What's up, everyone? It's Jay here with another MMTLP Sunday update. Getting prepped for the exciting next week that is yet to come. Again, right? Lots of more chatter, social sentiment, all waiting for the S1 filing. So in this video, we'll take a look to see what's up and also a more thorough TA analysis of possible price targets we could be looking at for Moon Infinity and beyond to see how far the squeeze could potentially play out using some simple technical analysis here. So Microcap Daily has put out a new article today. Again, there's a lot of sentiment because again, everyone is expecting the S1, which has gone through 3 amendments for the privatization, for the filing to be imminent, which means it can happen anytime now. For the next bridge hydrocarbon spinoff, again, the article does cover some of the key points, right? Once it's approved, the estimated 80 million share short position must cover within the next 15 days. So that gives us a time frame of how long it will take to get the shorts grilled and fried and sauced for good. Again, really appreciate you guys hollering out there. I see some TRCH OGs there, and it's been holding for a long time, right? I mean, when TRCH got pretty much became MTLP there. Um, right? It's been a long process. It's been over a year, right? So shorts still got to cover. I mean, MMTLP was like the placeholder, right? So right now we're still waiting for the shorts to complete and turn it in. But looks like the price they have to pay is going higher and higher. As I mentioned on my basic TA analysis, I mean, what more do you need, right? If you take a look at the chart here on TradingView on the 30-minute time frame, lots of green, lots of support, right? Lots of support coming out. See short attacks coming in here, big red selling volume. Did you sell? Did you get shaken out? We can't, right? So continue along and higher and higher and higher. Again, investment trading at the end of the day, it does depend on your risk profile portfolio as well. So again, always have a trading plan ready, know where your exits and outs are. These are highly volatile trading environments. Right now, the S1 hasn't filed yet, so maybe you're not feeling the feeling of euphoria yet. But when you do, maybe you're acting more on emotion. So maybe it's not maybe, but it's always best to have a trading plan going ahead, before it hits you. Then this way you're not struggling last minute to try to find, hey, do I get out here or do I get out there? Okay. So as I mentioned, lots of green on the volume still. We're still looking good. Yeah, as I mentioned, right, 80 million short positions carried over from TRCH, Torchlight Energy. Next bridge has 134,000 acres and 3.2 billion oil barrels. That good oil and gas there with an estimated payout of 60 to 140 a share. So again, things are looking really, really good here on the S1 and on the announcement of the going private here. Nothing really has changed in terms, of the of the story here, right? Unless the shorts think of something last minute to try to get away from it all. But let me know what you guys think about what's going to happen next week. Your predictions. If you're an OG from TRCH Holding, are you happy this is all finally looking to come to fruition here after 3 S1 filing amendments? But looks like we're seeing that we're seeing the end coming near for the shorts here. So without further ado, let's go do some price predictions. Again, these are just my thoughts. They're never meant to be taken as again, they're all NFA. Just what I think of the stock overall. Always make sure you do your DD and DYOR. Okay, let's go in. So for my last tier analysis, I mentioned that it does look like a cup and handle. So if it has a minor pullback, that's fine. The handle, once it comes out, that's when it shoots straight through, and we could see that hard 751 break, and they could get squeezed really hard. What I have going on here is the Fibonacci extension. Again, we use this to predict prices when it's going into uncharted territory beyond 751. Kind of have to use these levels. For those of you not familiar, Fibonacci is just a mathematical sequence that works surprisingly well on stocks. Just like doji candlesticks, they're discovered. Doji and candlesticks are discovered it in Japan. Like it's quite a few hundred years ago. Back then, I don't even think they had a stock market then, even in, in Japan, right? So but when they apply it to stock market, it does show some things, right? Like you can see these big wick-off bottoms showing support and big upticks showing resistances, right? So again, some people say, hey, T analysis doesn't work for OTC. I can see why that is the case on lower volume stocks, but obviously MMTLP, lots of eyes on it, lots of social sentiment. When you get more volume, when you get more liquidity, it is easier to see trends. We'll test it out right now to see if it's meaningful. If it's not, then let me know your thoughts as well, eh? So on the you guys can tell I'm Canadian because I just said it. So the first uptick here went to 751. That's what Microcap Daily said. Hey, if we test that high again, things can get really, really interesting. So you guys can see the red on the pullback here. And this is a wick-off bottom, meaning the price only went briefly to test the support and snap back right away. I only have 2 moving averages on here, which is, again, notated by the EMA, standing for exponential moving average. The ones you guys are usually used to seeing is the simple moving average. The difference is that the EMA gives more recency bias. So if the stock is moving highly volatile, big swings are expected, then you want to see more that recency bias so that the current prices are reflected better in the exponential moving average. And you can see I've got the 13 and the 21 day EMA here. It's really good just for myself when I'm tracking. So I got the 13, which is this blue line, teal line, and the EMA, which is this pink purple line here. So again, these are just numbers that have worked really, really well for me. And if you stick it around to fib numbers, they do work really, really well as well. So you guys can see this red candle, the bottom part hit exactly where that pink purple line is, right? Which is the 21-day EMA. For the second time, the shorts were not able to take it much further, so they only got the 13-day EMA, which is right here. So if both moving averages hold, guess what happens, right? It becomes support and price starts to move up and up as the floor demand goes up. And this is why the shorts have to go higher and higher and higher to try to get the covers. And it doesn't look good for them, right? So now you can see both moving averages are moving as support for the price movements, and this is why you have an uptrend. Okay, for the Fibonacci numbers, and everyone's like, hey, guy, what about the fib numbers, right? Do they work? Let's take a look. So the 2 meaningful levels, right? The 50% is actually just a half line from where you did it. So usually for the fib extension, the way you run it is you take the low point. I did it on the daily time frame because I wanted to grab all the price information. So I went from the low to the high back to the low, and this is how I get my extensions. So as you guys can see, the 2 key fib levels. So, you get the golden arches on the McDonald's. It looks so good with the fries and everything else like that. There's just some things in life that looks more pleasing to others for the golden ratios. That's what the fib numbers are trying to measure. Like, what's the perfect arch, right? What's the perfect cheek? Sorry, I couldn't think of anything better. What's the what ratios make it look appealing, right? So that's what it is. And the 2 key fib levels that people usually look at, the first one is 61.8%, which is the first retracement. And the second one is 38.2. And we can see that after this tried to actually go down to the 23.6, didn't quite get there, but got picked up by the EMA instead. And you can see the first stable bounce here was right off of the 38.2% at 336. And then you can see the 61.8% playing resistance until it was taken over, right? And most recently, even on Thursday, it was working towards that 78.6. And now we're working back to 100%. So we can kind of see where the price predictions could potentially come in to the upside. So we're going to go to the upside here. If you ever wondered if you can move your chart, you can actually just unlock it by clicking on auto. The feature is there on most websites. Some people didn't know they can actually drag it all over the place, but again, you can lose your chart, no worries, just snap it back, right click, reset the chart. Okay, so if we do move up, the first extension we're gonna get, again, these are just hypothetical predictions just based off of fib, 1165, so that's one of the levels there, 161%. You may think it's kind of low or everything else like that, right? But this is just the sequence of numbers that it goes up by. Then you have 1836, which is the 261% extension, $25, 361.8 and ultimately up to $29, $30 range for 123%. So usually the first two levels, I like to, if it does reach, those levels, I like to try to do the fib extension again to try to get more recent levels, because as it goes higher and higher, it tends not to hit exactly. That's why the first level is usually the one I do try to key in on as just the next level if 751 does break, right? So you know what? We're gonna keep those levels there, and in the future, when it does squeeze, we'll see if it was helpful. If you're interested in learning more about technical or even option analysis, I'll be running a series on both where I explain into more depth about Fibonacci numbers, how to use it to trade, and also about basic options as well. But again, options are not for OTC markets, right? So for more regular stocks, I do have Mullen ABCT coverage on here, especially Mullen and the gamma squeeze there. So if you're interested in GM, EMC, Mullen type of squeezes, how options work, make sure you subscribe, follow, smash the like. This way you're able to keep up with the channel as well. So I hope this video helped you guys to understand the price action on MMTLP a lot better. And let me know your thoughts about next week, how much you're holding, what you guys are thinking is going to happen. Are you excited? And we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.